Hello, what's up there everybody? Good morning. It's me again, General, and we are doing a live video testing out one of the best flight simulators out there on the market, which is the X-Plane 11. If you wanted to be a pilot someday and you want to train yourself home base, then this is the software you must install in your PC. And right now we are at Seattle Tacoma, or Key SEA, and we are flying the default Boeing 737-800. Um, This is my first time to use X-Plane. I have played FSX. Actually, I have tried the demo of X-Plane 10, but I haven't actually gone deep to it. So yeah, let's go start this thing up. Let's jump over to the flight deck. Alright, so you see here the aircraft is currently in cold and dark state. That means no electrical power running on the aircraft right now. And basically, I used to fly Airbus A320. I'm not sure about the 737, but I think I can start it up because all airliners just share the same principle on startup. We must start on overhead panels first. So let's go and do that. This is the overhead panel, just like other aircraft. We start by turning on the batteries. This is the battery of the 737, and now we have electrical powers, which is not too bad. Turn the standby power to auto, and the main to standby as it is right now. It's on standby. Let's go and switch the ground power unit as it is available. Why not? At this very moment, you can already hear the aircraft breathing. Those are the cockpit air conditioning system. And I'm just gonna turn these knobs here to brighten up the backlight and the channel lights of the overhead panel so we can see it more clearly. And let's go start the fuel pumps. Let's go over here. Let's check there the hydraulics. Turn that on. Um, no. Let's turn on the lights first. We have the position lights to steady, and now seat belts. There we go. And let's turn on the APU. Yeah, you heard that right. That is the auxiliary power unit, or the APU, coming alive. And we need the APU for power and to start up the engines. The APU is somehow located on the back of the aircraft. It's like a small jet engine that provides power. Let me turn this caution off. Okay, so what else do we need to do here? Um, Lights. Okay, let's turn on the lights. Let's go up here and turn on the bleed. We need that for air conditioning, and that is a crucial procedure to start up the engines. Let's look around here if we can still do something. I think that's good. Let's turn on the APU generator and switch this knob to APU gen because we have the APU running. Okay, so right now the aircraft is running on internal power, and that's a very good news. So let's go step outside and see how the aircraft looks like with all the lights on. I have the logo lights on and the wing lights, also the wheel well, but you can't really see it right now because there's still sunlight. But that's alright because it will get dark later on. Let me think what else we need to do here. I think I need to get the elevation for our landing altitude later. Okay, so 500 feet. I'm going to check the outside air temperature as well. So we can, where's that? Oh, there is 14 °C. So we don't need anti-ice because it's warm outside. Let's set our landing altitude to 500. That's good. In our flight altitude to 3,000 feet because we're not going anywhere. We are only flying from Seattle to Seattle. So we take off, go around, and land at Seattle. Okay, so now we're just going to run a few checks. Let's see if the fire alarm system works here on engine APU. No. Alright, there we go. It does work. That's too loud. Let's turn it off by pressing this master caution. Alright, it's off now. I'm glad that it works, just like on the real 737. I'm trying to use the FMC here, or the flight management computer. I don't really have that much of a background how to use it, but pretty much as you can see on our navigation display, I have already entered some routes which is pretty fucked up. I'm not sure what I'm trying to do here. Look at the routes that I've entered. It's all destroyed, or whatever you wanna call that. I really don't have the background yet to operate the FMC, but I'm just trying to see if I can do anything here. I'm confused. Clear that up. No. Ah. Invalid entry. Come on. I really don't know how to use the FMC yet. Okay, so I gave that up. Nope, not today. I can't use the FMC. We're just going to fly VFR. Alright, now let's go and dial in our altitude here. We'll be flying around 3,000 feet. Okay, dialing it up. 3,000, close enough. 3,000. Okay, our heading is just right, 160, because we're taking off at runway 16. I'll speed around 225. 225. Okay, everything's set up. Flight director's on, so we can use the autopilot later. Our VS should be around 1000. That is our vertical speed. Yep, pretty much it, that's all. Now I'm just gonna go request for a push and start here. Put the parking brakes off so we can request a push.
Okay, push cart on the way.
And there's our tow here going for us so we can push us backwards. Alright, there he goes. Oops, there he is. He's gonna put the strut on our front wheel and that thing's going to push us backwards. And while he's doing that, let's go jump back on the cockpit and start the engines. So engine mode selector number 2 to, nope, G, yeah, there we go, to ground. And as you see here, the engine starts pulling up. What a lovely noise. Once it reaches 20, we inject fuel. Okay, 20, inject fuel, and N1, we should be receiving N1. Let's check it on here. There's the N1 rising up, and we have successfully start engine number 2. As you see there, engine number 2 is spinning already, while the engine number 1 on our left side is still off. So now engine number 2 is stabilized. We can now start engine number 1. So same thing on engine number 1 mode selector, put that to ground. And wait for 20, it should be pretty fast because engine 2 is running, and there we go, inject fuel. Engine number 1 is running. Now we have both engines running. Let's just wait for it to stabilize, and then we'll go call for an ATC. There we go. Oop! That guy just stepped on the brake really hard. Okay, all the engines stabilized now. Let's turn on the taxi lights. There we go, to bright. Okay, that's good. APU off because we have the engine running now. Let's turn the APU off. And the APU generator. We put on the generator for the engines. And back here we put engine generator, either Gen 1 or 2. Doesn't really matter. Turn off the APU bleed. There we go. Cool. I think we're pretty much done here. Let's go to the ATC and request for taxi clearance.
November 816 November cleared IFR to Kilo Sierra Echo Alpha as filed. Maintain 3000 squawk 4703.
Okay, 4703 here on the transponder. Let's input that. There we go. And let's go read that back to let him know that we acknowledge that. And there's a Boeing 747 in front of us. How cool is that? I think he's heading to the same runway as we are, so later on we might follow him after we request for our taxi.
November 816 November runway 16 left. Taxi via Alpha Bravo. Hold short of runway 16 left.
Okay, read that back, so we can let him know that we acknowledge that. And it's pretty good we have the arrows here, so we won't really get lost while taxiing. Now we have our crossing clearance. Let's go and taxi to runway 16 left. So pretty much we are going to follow that 747 that drove in front of us.
119.9 November 05 X-ray Papa.
We are about to approach runway 16 here, hold short, and there's another Delta 737 taking off right there. And Remember the 747 that taxi in front of us lately? There he is on the whole short of runway 16 and we'll be taxiing behind him. Maybe he's going to take off now. So we're going to replace his position as he line ups the runway.
Taxi via Alpha, Bravo. Hold short of 16 left. November 02.
Alright, now the
X-ray,
747
Papa.
is lining up runway 16 left and we are about to hold short here. Wait for him to completely leave the runway and after him we are going to take off. Is that a helicopter? Oh, how cool is that? There's a helicopter. And while the 747 is going for its takeoff, I'm gonna go do my stuff here for my own takeoff. I'm gonna make sure our lights is on strobe, and I guess that's what I need to do at the moment. Let's go watch this thing take off. And I've switched to external view just to see if my strobes are working, and they are. Look at that flashes. And what we're gonna do here now is just wait for that 747 to completely leave the runway so we can request our own takeoff clearance on runway 16 left.
November. Contact tower on 119.9.
And the ground wants us to change frequencies now, so let's do that.
November 816 November.
Look at that thing go. How gorgeous is that? Look at her.
Tower,
Wow.
November 816 November.
November 03.
Okay, now that 747 is gone, we just need to wait here for our clearance to arrive from the tower so we can take off.
124.2 November 03 X-ray Papa.
November 816 November. Fly heading 140. Runway 16 left. Clear for takeoff.
Okay, and that's our clearance. We are now going to line up the runway for takeoff. I'm gonna put a little bit of power here. I'll read back the message once we line up. Okay, so now entering 16 left, as you see there on the runway, there's a number and a letter saying 16L.
November 816 November. Fly heading 140.
Okay,
Runway
let's go read that
16
back
left. Clear for takeoff.
so you won't worry. Alright, line up pretty good here.
Heading 140. Runway 16 left.
Let's go and dial in 140 as the tower requested. There we go.
November.
And our bank angle to 20 degrees. Okay, so let's go. Take off. And 140% and toga. Airspeed is alive, folks. I'm just going to call out for 80 knots. $80 knots. V1 rotate. I can feel the simulation here. Alright, there we go. We're off the ground. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Climbing just fine here. Now let's turn on the autopilot.
November. Contact center on 124.2.
There we go. Put that to VS. That's two. I think that's just right. Okay. The airplane is now flying in automated manner. Hold the heading. Okay, turn left to 140.
November 816 November.
Time to contact Seattle Center.
816 November. Kilo Sierra Echo Alpha. Altimeter 2992.
Kilo Sierra Echo Alpha. Altimeter.
I'm gonna bring the flaps up back to 0.
November 816 November.
There we go.
November 816 November. Fly heading 050.
Fly heading 050, roger. Let's input 050 there. And there we go. The tower just wanted us to fly his heading so that we can go around and land back at runway 16. So yeah, let's just follow him. Let's do whatever heading he gave us. We are now at 3,000 feet and holding. To clear the confusion between a game and a flight simulator, a flight simulator is not a game. It is a simulator. And speaking of simulator, it is something that simulates something in real life and give you the same experience as they are in real life. So yeah, that's the purpose of a flight simulator. So everything you see here, the city, the time, the flight dynamics, the aircraft, the scale, everything, the airports, the flight frequencies, except for the procedures that we did lately because I'm not a real pilot and I don't have the 737 checklist, so I did everything and all that just based on my background knowledge about aviation. So that's it, and pretty much it turned out really good. As you see now, I've successfully flew the 737 from cold and dark, and now we are making our way back to Seattle. So I hope that remove the confusion from a game and a flight simulator because clearly those two are different, far different from each other. Look at the sunset there. How beautiful is that? Wow. That's the city of Seattle in front of us. And we are currently turning left to line ourselves up with the runway again where we took off.
Heading 070 November.
November 0.
And we will have a view of Seattle here on our right side. Let's just wait for it to emerge.
Heading 170.
There it is. That's the Space Needle, the landmark of Seattle. That's a tower. That's an observation tower in Seattle. And also the Bremerton Ferry. What a nice view. That's cool. Okay, let's turn 160 here because we are about to begin our approach. The tower already told us to notify him if we already have a view of a field, which we will expectedly have now. We all have the field right there in front of us. That's the Seattle Tacoma International Airport, or Kilo Sierra Echo Alpha. So okay, let's go and report him that we have the field inside. Hold on, we can't do that right now because there's still in the transmission. There we go, reporting.
November 816 November. Contact tower on 119.9er.
Copy that, will do.
Contact tower on 119.9er. November 816 November.
Okay, now let's go and check in with approach. Let's do that now.
November 816 November.
November 08 X-ray. Papa. Contact center.
We have alert from TCAS. Seems like we have traffic nearby. I can't see him yet. Holy crap! There it is. That's a 747. What the heck? That's close. That is so close. That's really dangerous. I mean, it's avoidable in real life, but sometimes that happens. And I think the 747 is also lining up on the same runway as us. And with that distance, I think we can't really land right now. So I guess I should call the tower for a misapproach and let's try again. I'm gonna call the tower for a go around. We can't really do it. The 747 is so close to us. Even if he landed and we are on his back, we might collide on the runway. So yeah, we can't really do it. We need to go around and try again. That happens sometimes in real life, doing the misapproach and go around. If there's traffic on the runway, we do that. We have another traffic, another 747 on our left side. Probably that airplane there also did a misapproach. He's on the same course as us. Luckily, he's that ahead of us so that when we line up with the runway, he would be in the safer distance from us. So what we are going to do here is basically we just have to follow him. I'm looking on a highway right now, and there is actually cars on it. How cool is that? Look at the road traffic. That's really cool. That's so detailed. And again, we have the city of Seattle, far away, but we'll be right beside it later on. Looking at these cars again, it really amused me how detailed this flight simulator is. Look at that expressway. There's actually cars on it as we get closer to the city. And it looks really amazing because the time has changed. We took off with the
November
sun about to
816 November. Fly heading
what you call it in
190.
English? About to set, and right now the sun is
Heading
completely gone.
190
So the
November,
scenery had changed. It
816
gets a lot darker, and we can
November.
now see city lights and car lights below us, which is really cool.
Papa, climb the
So
main
we've
main
just flown the same flight path basically, and there's a Cessna on the left side.
November,
And again,
03 X-ray,
we have
Papa.
the beautiful view of Seattle. We have a Cessna on our left side, right where I'm looking at right now, but we can't see him yet because Cessna 172 is a really small aircraft. And there's another aircraft taking off. Cool,
November
that's the airport.
01 X-ray. Papa, fly
It's really
heading
unusual for a Cessna to land on a
050.
busy
Descend
airport like
maintain
Seattle,
3000.
mostly on one of the busiest runway,
Heading
but
05
yeah, it happens here in the simulator, so
November,
we can do
01
nothing about it.
X-ray, Papa.
Our landing speed is way more faster than the Cessna, so we will land ahead of him, and we can actually see him approach later on.
November.
Approaching Seattle Tacoma here once more. I'm going to turn off the autopilot one by one as we get closer to the runway, and we are going to land this plane manually. We are about to approach runway 16 center of Shutdown Tacoma International. And let's do the approach.
November.
Landing gears down.
Tower, November, 816 November.
It's really hard to
November.
control everything here since I'm only using a keyboard and a mouse, so it's kind of complicated to handle the communication and the aircraft controls at the same time. That's really inconvenient for me because you're supposed to fly and explain with a joystick and not a mouse. So yeah,
November
it's a little
02
complicated.
X-ray. Papa, fly heading
So pardon me if I do
160,
some
runway
unwanted
16
maneuvers.
left, clear for takeoff.
Heading 160, runway 16 left. Cleared for takeoff, November, 02 X-ray, Papa.
1000.
November 816 November, runway 16 center, clear to land.
Okay, we just received the clearance for landing. Let's go land this thing.
Tower, November, 07 X-ray, Papa.
Light slow. Light slow. Light slow.
300.
TCAS alert.
We just had alert from TCAS. Looks like there's an airplane on the whole chart.
200.
Light slow.
Okay, we are now pretty much on final approach here. We are 100 above.
Light slow.
Let's take it slow and steady, slow and steady.
50, 40, 30.
Okay,
20,
flaring,
10.
flaring. Touchdowns, spoilers up, and thrust reversers engage. Come on, there we go. Alright, we have successfully landed 737.
November 02 X-ray, Papa, contact center on 124.2.
Contact center on.
Here comes the Cessna I was talking during our approach. There he goes, and there's an airliner behind him. I'm pretty sure that that one gonna go a misapproach because that thing is so damn slow. And we are at the whole chart of runway 16 left because there's a 747 taking off and we can't actually cross it yet. Let's wait for him to clear the runway and then we cross. Okay, I think the runway is clear now.
November
We can actually
07
cross it.
X-ray, Papa.
Let's
Fly
go.
heading 160.
Center. Cleared to land. November 01 X-ray. Papa.
Now we just need to look for a gate to park on and we'll be done.
Tower.
We'll
November
be finishing this flight.
03 X-ray. Papa.
I'm gonna turn off this strobe now because we are now entering a taxiway. Leaving the taxi light open because it's too dark. We need that as a headlight.
X-ray. Papa.
I told you that airline is going to go around because of the Cessna. I knew it. That happens all the time. Well, too unfortunate for that airplane, he has to go around like what we did lately and redo this approach. There's a bunch of usable gates here. Let's pick one and park at it. Okay, now let's do the parking. There's no marshaller in front of us, so which make this parking a little bit tricky because there's no one to guide us. So we're just gonna estimate things here. That's a beautiful jetway. A little bit more, slow down. Okay, forward a little bit. Let's wait for the jetway to align in our window. And I think this is okay. So let's stop here. Alright, full stop. Alright, we are now parked. We should turn off the engines. There we go, engines off. Turn on the APU for auxiliary power and APU bleed for the air cons. Let's connect to the ground power as well as it is available. And now let's put this knob to ground power. Okay. Turning off the lights. Okay, that's cool. A few minutes had gone by and now let's completely turn the 737 off back to its cold and dark state like how it used to be when we first sit on it. So first let's turn off all the lights. Position lights to off. Everything's off. APU bleed off. There we go. Ground power disconnect. Standby power to off. Close that hatch. The main back to standby. Batteries to standby. Let's turn off the fuel pumps. Bring all the generators to off. There we go. APU and engine generator off. Hydraulics off. There we go. What else? Anti-ice. Oh, they are off. We didn't use that. Okay, that's pretty much it. The brightness. Let's turn them back to standard. And the battery disconnect discharge is lit up. That's because we are not connected to any power source now except for the batteries. So let's turn it off. That will completely shut the aircraft off. Nope, wait, forgot the APU. Let's turn the APU off. There we go, APU off. And then batteries comes next. Okay, now we have fully shut down the 737. Thank you guys for flying with me. I have a lot of fun playing the X-Plane 10. I mean the X-Plane 11. It's really realistic as it is. If you're an aspiring pilot, you should get this software to train yourself. It's really fun. It's really cool. Really nice to have it. And that's all. Thank you for watching.